Hello everyone and welcome again to another edition of the Sports Wrap with Michael Kravetz. And this is the second to the last show that I will ever be doing. And today's episode, a lot of things to get into. We're started off, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 46-30, their highest mark of the season, 16 games over 500. If you remember that 16 game over 500 mark, last year they achieved in late August, and we all know the collapse that they had. So they're going to try and build on it this year and not have that same collapse. And this team does, in fact, look very different from last year's team. A lot of good things to talk about with the Pirates this past week. The 4-game series in Cincinnati, the Pirates split with the Reds. And the 4 games, it was going to be heated up. You knew the players were going to get hit with some balls. The first game of the series, McCutchen gets hit. Aroldis Chapman comes in the ninth and throws a 100-mile-per-hour fastball toward Neil Walker's head. Fortunately for the Pirates, no one got injured. In the following game, Charlie Morton comes out, first battery face, Shin-Soo Choo hits him on the knee. So it was nice to see that happen. And it was pretty good because the Pirates, they could have lost 3 out of 4. They win the finale, split the series. First game, they got pretty good pitching from Francisco Liriano, but the offense just could not figure out Mike Leake. They lost that game 4-1. Then on Tuesday night, Charlie Morton, they were going up against Matt Latos, who did not lose in 21 consecutive regular season starts, and he pretty much owned the Pirates. But they got 3 runs on him early. They were able to win the game 4-0. Great pitching from Morton. And then Watson, Melanson, and Grilli come in to finish off a great game. Then Wednesday night, the Pirates had a 1-0 lead going into the top of the ninth. And for the first time, going into the bottom of the ninth. And for the first time this year, Jason Grilli blew his first save with 1 out. First pitch against Jay Bruce. He smacked it over the right field wall to tie the game at 1. And then it wasn't until the bottom of the 13th that Brandon Phillips had a seeing eye single go through the middle to bring home the winning run. So it was a really, really tough, hard-fought game for both teams, but the Reds just got the better of the Pirates in that one. Another great pitching performance from Jeff Locke. 7 innings, 4 hits. He got 11 ground ball outs. His ERA now is lowered to 2.01, which is now second in the major leagues. So he has just been an amazing story so far this year. And then in the finale, they had rookie Brandon Compton making his second start, going up against Homer Bailey. And this is basically the Pedro Alvarez game because he gets all 5 RBIs for the Pirates in their 5-3 win. He goes 3 for 4, hits a home run, has a double, and this would be the beginning of his hot streak. Because then they go on to LA to take on the Angels in a 3-game interleague series. The Angels, a lot of expectations coming into the year. A lot of people picked them to win the World Series. I, one of them. And Garrett Cole making his 3rd start in his hometown. UCLA, that's where he went to school at. Going up against Jared Weaver, who's been on the DL for a lot this year. He's 1-3. And the Pirates got some runs early on because in the top of the second, Alvarez leads off with the home run. Snyder then gets on base. Mercer hits a 2-run homer to give the Pirates a 3-0 lead. And then in the 4th, Starling Marte, RBI triple, scores Neil Walker. Pirates go up 4-0. And then the Angels make it close, getting a couple runs. Pujols hit a home run off Cole. That's Cole's first home run he allowed, and he also allowed his first walk in this game. The Pirates hold on for a 5-2 win. What was impressive about this game for Garrett Cole, almost, I believe it was 7 or 8 pitches that he threw, reached 100 miles per hour. 3 of them hit 101. That is the highest velocity for a single pitch by a starter this year. So that just goes to show you how hard of a thrower Cole is. He went 6 1/3, only 4 hits, a couple runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And Mazzaro came in, was very close to giving up the tying 2-run homer but was able to get out of the 8th inning, and then Grilly comes in for the save. It was nice to see that bounce-back save for Grilly after the blown one Wednesday night. Saturday, Liriano had some great pitching. Once again, Pirates go up early, 3-0. Alvarez, a home run in the top of the second, his second in a row in 2 games. Pirates go up 4-0. McCutchen adds a home run in the top of the 5th to make it 5-0. And then the Angels would only get 1 run in this game. Jason Vargas was the scheduled starter, but Jerome Williams had to fill in, and the Pirates took advantage of that. They win the game 6-1. Gabby Sanchez adds a home run off the foul pole and left in the 8th. And solid pitching from Liriano. Only gives up a run in 6 2/3, 6 strikeouts. He looked pretty good. Alvarez, 2 for 4, another strong showing with a home run. And Jordy Mercer again, another multi-hit game, as he is now the starting shortstop for the foreseeable future this season. And in the game yesterday, boy was it a crazy game. McCutchen was not in the starting lineup, neither was Russell Martin. Tony Sanchez made his debut as the designated hitter, and Alvarez was at the 3 spot in the batting order, mainly because Hurdle's reasoning behind that was, since McCutchen's not in there, Martin's not in there, Alvarez is the best hitter in the lineup, so you want your best hitter hitting the number 3 spot. And boy did he deliver, because in the first inning, once again, hits a home run. That is now 4 consecutive games that he now has a home run. Joe Blanton coming in, he was 6 for 9 against him. Blanton 1-10, second most losses in the major leagues. So you figured the Pirates would probably try and have a good offensive game against him, but that was not the case, because after a 5-run second inning for the Angels due to a couple errors by the Pirates, they were up 5-1. The Pirates didn't look good early on defensively. They got 2 runs back the following inning, but then they gave up another one. It was 6-3, and it looked like the Pirates were going to drop the finale of the series. So you go to the top of the 9th, and they get a couple hits to start off the inning. It's 1st and 3rd. McCutchen pinch hit for Tony Sanchez. So now, because he pinch hit for the designated hitter, they essentially lost the DH, which means the pitcher spot would be back in the lineup. McCutchen grounds out into a fielder's choice. They do not get the double play, so there's 2 outs. It's a 6-4 game. McCutchen is at first. Russell Martin pinch hits for Michael McHenry, and I'm telling you, it was about a 1.5 feet shy of tying the game up. It was a double off the wall, just above J.B. Shuck's head. McCutchen scores. Martin's at second. It's now 6-5. So Starling Marte up and down to his final strike. Lines a single into left field. Martin scores, ties the game up at 6. Really just an improbable comeback for the Pirates. So we go to extra innings. And in the 10th, Alvarez, a leadoff double. Clint Barnes pinch hits, bunts him over to third. The bases end up getting loaded with 1 out, and on a 3-1 pitch, Travis Snyder comes through, hits a single, it bounces in front of Shuck, goes behind him, he misplays it, all 3 runs score, and Snyder ends up at second. It's now a 9-6 game. The Pirates would add on another one to make it 10-6. So you're thinking, okay, here we go. Pirates drop by 4 runs. No way they're going to lose in the bottom of the 10th. Jason Grilly comes in and only had allowed, I believe, 11 hits the entire season. And in this inning, I believe he gives up 6 hits, 3 runs to make it 10-9. And it's 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs, and arguably one of the best hitters in the game, Mike Trout, up at the plate. And it was a kind of a long at-bat for Trout, but on the 1-2 pitch, gets him swinging on a slider away, strikes him out for the series sweep. And boy, was it it was a close game. I was panicking when I was watching that because I thought maybe they were going to lose this one. But it's the first time ever in history of the Pittsburgh Pirates that they get a road sweep in an interleague series. And yes, you can say the Angels have had their struggles, but this was a great series victory, series sweep for the Pirates, giving them a lot of momentum and confidence. They are now tied for 2nd in the majors with the longest winning streak with 4 games, only behind the Toronto Blue Jays. And now they are only 1 game back of the St. Louis Cardinals for first place in the National League Central. They have a record of 46-30, which is also the second best record in the majors, and they're comfortably ahead of in the wild card race. Cincinnati is a game and a half behind them, and then the next closest team is about 6.5 games back. No, it's way too early, but just want to throw that out there. So a lot of great things to see from this Pirate team this past week. The pitching was solid. Liriano improving to 6-3. Locke 6-1, lowering his ERA. His next start it might be under 1 after all is said and done. Great pitching from Garrett Cole. Obviously, the adrenaline and the emotion was there for pitching back in California where he grew up. Brandon Compton gave them 2 solid starts. Didn't get a victory in a decision in any of them, but he gave them good innings. Tony Sanchez had a good debut, got a double in his first at-bat. And Duke Welker made his Major League debut yesterday in the game, pitching 1 inning of scoreless relief, struck out 1. He looked pretty impressive. So a lot of great things to see from this team this past week. And so they will be off today and then also off Thursday. They have a 2-game series in Seattle starting tomorrow where it looks like it will be, I believe, Jeff Locke against Joe Saunders, and then Jeanmar Gomez will return and make a start against Felix Hernandez on Wednesday. And now it begs the question, there are a lot of things going on with the starting rotation. Wandy Rodriguez may return Saturday to the rotation, and it seems like about 1 or 2 weeks before Burnett comes back. The question will be, the Pirates have too much depth at the starting pitcher spots, and that's something you really have not said about the Pirates in quite some time. They arguably have 7 pitchers that could be in this 5-man rotation. A.J. Burnett, Wandy Rodriguez, Charlie Morton, Garrett Cole, Jeff Locke, Francisco Liriano, and Jeanmar Gomez. James McDonald, I think, is out of the equation. I'm really starting to doubt that he will be a Pittsburgh Pirate in the next few weeks because finished his rehabilitation assignment in AAA. Not good starts at all down there for him. I believe his ERA was close to 6.3 after a start a couple days ago. So I think they might want to try to trade him to see if they can get anything for him because I know they probably want to just outright release him. But I think his days of being in the starting rotation for the Pirates are over. And a lot of the rumors a lot of the things that people are saying here in Pittsburgh is that Garrett Cole will be sent back down to Class AAA because it's a smart business move. It would save them a couple $1 million in arbitration down the line if he does get sent down again, avoiding the Super 2 status. Neil Huntington said that wouldn't be the reason why. The reason why they would send him down, there are only 2 out of those 7 pitchers I mentioned who have options left that can be sent down to AAA without having to go through waivers. Garrett Cole and Jeff Locke. I don't think there's any chance in hell that you're going to send down Jeff Locke because he quite arguably is one of the best pitchers in the National League right now. He is the ace of the staff with a 6-1 record and a 2.01 ERA. Cole, though, I don't think you should send him down. I know it makes sense business-wise, but he's 3-0. I know that it looks like he's dominating with his fastball. He needs to start mixing in better pitches. He started to do that, though, Friday night. But he has the capability to, I think, not lose a game this year. I know that's crazy to say, but with his stuff, how hard he throws, I know the strikeouts aren't where you want them to be. He only has 8 in 3 starts, but I just don't think it'd be reasonable to send him down because he is one of the best pitchers on your staff right now. And I think Jeanmar Gomez should go to the bullpen once Wandy comes back. And then when AJ is ready to come back, if Cole, wins his next 2 starts, he's 5-0. I think the only pitcher you can take out is Charlie Morton. Because I know some people are going to say Liriano, but guess what? He's 6-3. If they leave Liriano, they'll have 3 lefties in the rotation, which is something rare for a team, so that's something you can utilize with Locke, Wandy, and Liriano. And Morton had a shaky start yesterday. I know you could attribute that to some bad defense. They had 3 errors in the game. But I think it's going to be basically a tryout these next 2 weeks. Once Burnett comes back, if Morton does not pitch effectively, I think they could send him to the bullpen or send him back down to AAA and see if he clears waivers. Because I know they probably want Morton around for the future, but Liriano is looking like his dominating self back when he was a younger pitcher. Cole is just pitching at a great level right now, and he beat two former Cy Young winners and another great pitcher in Weaver. I know they haven't been the same pitchers that they were, but still, I just think you got to keep Cole up here because he is definitely giving your team a chance to win every time he goes out there, and he is showing that he's ready for this level. And if you send him back down, that might shake his confidence again. It might alter the team chemistry. They might get a little upset. So, I don't know. I just don't think you should send him down. You should keep him up here. So, this week should be another good week for the Pirates. Pedro Alvarez is heating up. He now has 19 home runs, 51 RBIs. A lot of people are saying, should he be an all-star? Well, guess what? You look at the numbers, David Wright will definitely get there. He'll probably be the starter. And then I think Alvarez is the second best third baseman in the National League right now, because Sandoval has had some injury problems. And it's just a matter of whether or not Bruce Bochy will select Alvarez over Sandoval, his own player, which I don't think is going to happen. But if Alvarez keeps hitting the way he does, I don't think there's any way you can pass him up for the All-Star game. And also, David Wright, I think, should pick Alvarez to be a part of the Home Run Derby, because I think he could win it, quite honestly, because you see him in batting practice, he just crushes balls. He crushes balls out of the stadium. And also, his defense. I know he has now, 14 errors, which is the most among third basemen in the NL, but his defense has gotten a lot better. He made some nice diving stop plays in the Cincinnati series, and made some decent plays against the Angels. So he is becoming an all-around better player. His average is nearing 240. It's getting its way up there. So it'll be interesting to see if he keeps this hot streak going this week in Seattle, and then when they come back to PNC Park to take on the Brewers. And now I want to get into something else that has been kind of a mystery, so to speak, in the NFL, and that is the situation going on with tight end Aaron Hernandez of the New England Patriots. A semi-pro football player, Odin Lloyd, was found dead about 1 mile from Aaron Hernandez's home last Monday. And it's believed to be that Hernandez and Lloyd were close friends. Lloyd was dating Hernandez's fiance's sister for about 2 years. They were seen together the night that Lloyd was found dead. Now, Hernandez has kind of been shady, so to speak, since this happened, and an investigation started. Police searched his house. Hernandez was gone from his home on Friday until about 5 p.m. when police knocked on the door, wasn't home, and then he showed up with his lawyers. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Hernandez has had some suspicious activity involved around him in the past. He had a lawsuit filed against him earlier in the week in South Florida when a man claimed that Hernandez shot him in the face after arguing at a strip club. I don't really know a whole lot about him. I know he's a good player, though. He was drafted in 2010 from Florida. Last summer, signed a 5-year, $40 million contract with the Patriots. The one thing, though, I will say is I think he's guilty of something. The police, they searched his home in North Attleboro. The problem was his house was wiped down. He destroyed his cell phone. There's no way you're going to do that if you're not guilty. But since he did it, I think there is something that he is hiding from police. The jogger found Lloyd's body on Monday, 1 mile from his house. I don't know if Hernandez was involved with murdering him. I don't know if he asked someone to do it. All I know is that this is a sticky situation. Muscle Milk already dropped their endorsement deal for Hernandez. I wouldn't be surprised if he was penalized in some way by Goodell or the Patriots if for some reason he does not go to jail or to court for any of this. It brings back memories. Of course, I wasn't really paying attention. I was only 4 years old when the OJ case came around, but a lot of people said it's reminiscent of that. And I mean, it's sad to see this because Hernandez is a good football player. Like I said, I don't know much about his personality or whatnot, just from what I see on the field. But it's just something when I heard this, I was shocked, and it's going to be a long investigation. And I don't think Hernandez will be playing. I definitely think he won't be playing the full 16 games this upcoming year because something will have to happen. There will be a breakthrough in this case. Also, we'd like to get into some NHL Finals talk. Game 6 will be tonight in Boston. The Bruins led 2-1, but the Blackhawks have won 2 in a row. They had a wild overtime victory in Game 4, a 6-5 win to tie the series up at 2, and then they get a couple goals from Patrick Kane in Game 5. They take the game 3-1. I don't know. I think Blackhawks might close out the series tonight in Boston. Boston looked very frustrated at the end of Game 5. Chicago knows that, hey, this is the time, even though Game 7 will be back in the United Center, they want to close out this series now on the road. And I think Jonathan Toews is going to have a big game, even though he looked a little bit shaky off that hit from Boychuk. At the end of Game 5, I think he will be playing. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to help lead his team to victory. And I think Chicago is going to get their second Stanley Cup in 4 years. And the NBA Finals. Wow, what a classic series it was. There were a couple blowout games in the series, but Game 6 had to be one of the best games I've ever seen. San Antonio led by 5 with 28 seconds. I thought they were going to win the championship, go 5-0 all time in the NBA Finals, but missed free throws down the stretch, especially a big one by Kawhi Leonard, gave the Heat hope, and with just under 5 seconds, the Spurs led 95-92. Ray Allen, the best three-point shooter in NBA history, with some guys up in his face, drained a three-pointer to tie it at 95, send the game into overtime, and with the Heat leading 103-100, the Spurs had one last chance. They tried to give it to Danny Green for a 3 at the buzzer. It was blocked by Chris Bosh, and the Heat wins Game 6. There were a couple non-calls down the stretch that could have been fouls, but doesn't matter because it's just the way the games are called nowadays. And in Game 7, it was close throughout, but the Heat pulled away when LeBron James, they were up 90-88 with under a minute. James had an open jump shot. He took it, drained it. Heat go on to win 95-88. They have now won back-to-back NBA championships. They're third in 8 years. So they try to want to make it 3 in a row next year. They're going to definitely be a dynasty. And like I was saying, though, LeBron James also was named the NBA Finals MVP for the second straight year. And if the Heat want to have any chance of winning 3 in a row, they are going to have to do a major overhaul of their roster because they have negative cap space already. James, Bosh, and Wade, the big three, have a chance to opt out of their contracts after next season. So it's likely that one of them would be traded, I would assume, this year coming up, and Bosh would be the most likely candidate out of the three. They're going to have to get rid of a lot of players, Chris Anderson being one of them, Mike Miller, maybe Mario Chalmers, Ray Allen possibly, because the competition level is high right now in the NBA, and it's only going to get better next year. Remember, it took 7 games to beat Indiana, it took 7 to beat the Spurs. The Knicks, the Bulls, the Nets are all going to be improved next year, so the Heat are going to have to make some changes, and they have no draft picks either, so they're going to have to find a way to clear a lot of cap space so they're able to sign some free agents or make some decent trades, because even though they still have the big three, it will not be the big three much longer, and LeBron James can't carry that team by himself, because Wade, he has his injury problems too. He's getting a lot older too, so it's going to take a lot for them to win 3 in a row, and I'm pretty sure they're going to make the playoffs, because it would be a shock if they didn't, but right now, as it stands, I can't see them winning 3 in a row. They're just going to have to make too many changes. And depending on who they get will determine if I think that they have a shot at winning back-to-back-to-back NBA titles. And also, the last topic will be about the Penguins. The draft will be coming up in a week. A lot of speculation as to whether Chris Letang will still be a Penguin after the draft. Could be another situation where they traded Stahl last year at the draft. The way I see it, they're going to try and see what possible trades are out there. And if they don't see something that they're liking, I think they're going to wait to trade Letang maybe mid-season next year, or they'll let him play out for the whole year to see where his contract could be. Personally, I think the best move for the Penguins would be to trade him, because I think you could get a lot in return for him right now, because I think he's at the peak of his offensive ability. Still never thought he was a great defensive defenseman, but I would not be surprised if he is still a Penguin after draft day, or that he isn't, because it could go either way. But definitely will be interesting to look forward to and to see what trades that go down, whether the Penguins make any or any other teams in the NHL do, because it seems like there's at least a couple big trades that occur during the draft. But that'll do it, though, for today's show. 2 weeks from this Tuesday will be my final show. It'll be the All-Star edition, Baseball All-Star edition, kind of the halfway point for the baseball season. Mostly, it'll be a dominated baseball talk show, and I'll also recap the NHL Finals that will be ending this week. I'll also be talking about the NBA draft and any news going on with the Steelers, so it'll be a fun show. So, signing off, I'm Michael Kravetz, and you just listened to the Sports Wrap.